Objection!
Alright, and we're back. So, the key here is if you look at the book you were given right before this section of the trial, Rule 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department, and Rule 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. So Rule 1, I don't know, I feel like Phoenix has presented some random evidence before, just out of nowhere, just like, ha, I have this. But we will not show evidence. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie! Chief Gaunt, you opened my safe. I know you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together. Oh, I see. Because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gaunt? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? It looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? And it's you, the chief of police? Have you concealing evidence? This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. So now, unlike with before, he's admitted to it. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Ratto. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as a murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you admit to it? I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me I could use the situation to control Lana. So you really were manipulating her. I knew, Lana. If I made it look like if I made it look like the blame lay with her sister. If she saw the scene, she would ask me for my aid. So you assisted Ms. Sky. I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had to plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted. When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lena arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces, you mean the items in your safe? But why? For insurance, of course. Insurance? I was sure my plan would work. But it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating that far ahead about forging the evidence? Why wouldn't you just destroy it? What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jaw fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana go and wipe the blood off all the pieces. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar too? Oh. Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance. You mean that piece of cloth? Come on, Ratto. Cough it up already. I know you have it. What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? So you admit to it then, Chief Gaunt. That you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe. Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all. But it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you got to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present. Foolish move, Ratto. You should have shown it then before it was too late. It's been a long battle. The moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. So I believe now we can show the evidence. Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now. Alright then, let's see this evidence.
Take that!
Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh yes! At last you finally brought it out into the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that be immediately sent to the lab for analysis. This handprint on the leather. There must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. You mean it could not have been forged? It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. Ho ho ho! You are slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy. What? Think about it. Wright had all this time to present this evidence, but he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be? You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that? Mr. Wright, do you really know? Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well, I'll tell you. Should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as planned. The person whom these fingerprints belong to is... Emma? Emma Sky? What? They're mine? Sorry, Emma. But why? Why didn't you tell me? You're really something, Ratto. You knew this girl did it all along. And you still tried to pin the murder on me. So it's true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death. How could you? You monster! Miss Sky! You knew whose fingerprints those were all along, that you acted like she really didn't. Now, Ms. Sky, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. Ha! I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career, too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant's convicted. I have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh? And what's that? Who really killed Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It was Emma Sky, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? Talking about a contradiction, one that proves who the real killer is. Is it the size of the handprints? I'm not sure. But Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth. What could it contradict? Your tyrannical reign ends here, Chief Gant. Behold! The piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. Whoever it was must have a really oily hand. The person slipped and fell on a freshly waxed floor, getting wax all... It's your handprint. That was it? Oh no. Oh, wait. It's this thing. It's the blood. And what exactly is this supposed to be? This is a picture Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. See where this piece of the piece of his vest was cut out? Yes, his shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. It's only natural. His lungs no doubt were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Oh, but that piece of cloth. Wait. There's no blood. Ah! Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time. No, this is nonsense! Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Ms. Lana Sky, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him on the armor's sword? Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. A jar they had then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue, and make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? Through the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer. For a while, we had like no proof, though. He slipped up, is what happened. No! It's finally all over. Oh, look at him. Oh, that was close, Ratto. You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean you refute his allegations? You see that piece of cloth is illegal evidence. Order! What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Uji? Earlier, old Raito here concealed that piece of cloth. Well, that's true. Defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence. That's not fair. Did you actually think you could best me in court? The last laugh's on you, son. I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth. True. Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Well, Mr. Wright. It seems at last. The time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? That you purposely and illegally concealed this piece of cloth? I did not. I admit I refused to present it at one point. Aha! So the evidence is illegal. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. Huh? It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I could not. What do you mean you couldn't? There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. No! Uji, don't listen to his lies! He's nothing but a coward! You can't really believe! There's only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Very well, let us settle this once and for all. Earlier you refused to present evidence. You can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law. Do so now. The book! Take that! This is my proof. Evidence law. What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book, the second rule of evidence law. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself, inside your safe. It goes without saying I did not have approval from the police department. Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here's the crux of the matter. You see, at the time, it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Take one look at this picture and... Sorry, but can you recall, when was that picture presented? It was shown only a few moments ago. No. He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this once more. Yes, we just saw this. You person cut this out. Oh yes. Oh yes. No! It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes! You, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. I was trying to make Edgeworth like mock him with the yes! The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer. And there's only one person who that could be. Damon Gant. The killer was you. Fantastic breakdown. I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum. 2 years he been snooping around the department, trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day. He insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Starr and convinced Bruce Goodman. Goodman? Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is transferred, I lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you gotta help me. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card, tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. Wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then all of a sudden he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? You can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered. He opened his evidence locker, and as he was taking the evidence out, he said, "It's not too late. I'm gonna hand all this over to Marshall." Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it, that accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out. Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the floor, didn't realize my fatal mistake. bloody handprint on Gumshoe's locker. I used to be known as the crime computer. But everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. And then you put the body in my car. Sorry. I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will. That's my trunk! Leaving the prosecution's car aside, how? How did you get Miss Sky involved in all of this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out. So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker. I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take. So, you left the jar fragments in the glove. Yeah. It looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. Got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well. Much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court? Me? You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Udgy? What? Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friends. I'm sorry too, Damon Gatz. I knew you as you used to be, long ago. You were once a fine investigator, and an example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Udgy. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Rato here, and Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes. First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. You were right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years, from the time I had Gant help me forge evidence till today. So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered. I'm sorry, Miss Sky. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My. What high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you just might make it to the top. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Ms. Sky. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing. Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it! I did my job! In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Sky. Yes, Your Honor. You are innocent of murder, however. Although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes. I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains. Well, this trial's gone on far too long already. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Ms. Lana Sky. Here's Gumshoe! Yay, confetti! That is all. This court is finally adjourned. At long last, it's finally over. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry she didn't get completely off the hook. But she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended. Yay, flashbacks we just saw! You know, I did my best too. But Lana didn't say a single word to me. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals! Oh. Guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what? You're doing this on purpose, ain't you? Making a detective run all around while on duty. Top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding. Ew. Are you here because of my sister again? Nope, not this time. Came today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. Would you like to see someone? Lana! Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell if you won't. Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day, 2 years ago, was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. I asked Gant to help me cover up the truth. I felt I was doing it for your sake. But now, I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. The only way I could make it through these past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself. But I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you were only doing it for me. No. I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you. Sis? I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course! You go to jail for the crimes you committed, you fool! You know, sis, I was no wonder you'd come back. And now you have. Oh, Emma, Emma. No one can change the past. Only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in so doing, we can find the way back to our rightful path, and it's from there we can move on toward a brighter future. At least that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe... Me? Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here. That eternal scowl. Where was he hiding? I just came to say, congratulations. Well, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right, well, I'll be going now. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realize today I can't correct my mistakes. Mr. Edgeworth? Not only that, I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right. You and me were the same. One day you'll understand. You see what it really takes to bring them down. I do despise criminals. I planned to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. It's scary. I've known that to be true for quite some time now. But Edgeworth, who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said, in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. That may be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright, and because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? What? Oh, yeah. What is this, a pop quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright, show him what Lana's talking about. Evidence, huh? Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find out on our own. I think it's... yeah. That's the picture I drew. Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of the list, I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture. That didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth. It's time for me to go. Mr. Edgeworth, if you'll excuse me, there are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Edgeworth, what will you do now? Whatever you do, just remember, you can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. I know. It seems I owe you my thanks too, Wright? What I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. I'd better be going too. Okay, I'll be by to visit soon. It seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you. This little bird gets around everywhere. Scientific investigation. It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis. I will. And so another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. As for me, I think it's time I started a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal. What? What is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she ain't supposed to be out of jail like this. But I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Huh? Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Wright here's the one who'll be footing the bill. Huh? What, you think I could afford it with my salary? With my non-existent job right now? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Huh? Well, thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Why is it I suddenly feel like I want to scream. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go. Oh, the game is over. Ah, that case was so long. Had like 3 different trial sections at the end. I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take care of Emma. Hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office, you think? Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. I don't think they'll let you anywhere near a crime scene after this. Ugh. Good game, though. Good game. I love the Ace Attorney series. Yikes! Thought I was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. If we penalized you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. Just goes to show, can't shake me off that easily. Yeah, very good game. Some bullshit moments, though. And I'm not talking about like the very last case with Gant and the cloth. My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to security guard. My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them though. Someday I'm going to make detective. Yes, sir. Then I can be just like that Dick Gumshoe. Yeah, I'm not talking about like the moment with David Gant. Yes, I'm still salty about the receipt. Okay, I admit it. The receipt still bugs me. And the picture too, because I tried investigating the evidence list. Didn't let me. Oh no! Gumshoe's masterpiece broke at last. I was like, why are they showing me the blue bat? Oh. What is it? Can't you see I'm having me a showdown with the steak lunch partner? Miss Starr managed to sneak this into me. She's seen one of the guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, looks like you did it. Even gave Bambina back her smile. Make sure Billy and the gang get their water. Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As a farewell gift, I put a new meal on the menu, the Right Way lunch. Top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is as sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller around exam time. Just make sure not to eat it backwards. I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left? Anyway, he said he's been doing, something or other for, how many years? Well, anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I'd better be... Huh? Oh no! I forgot my gavel, so I've got to go. Mr. Left? Oh, look who it is. Ah! Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objection. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium.
Mystic Maya, afternoon's training's about to begin. Coming!
Well, see you around, Nick.
Mr. Edgeworth,
Mr. Edgeworth, I brought you your tea. What's going on? Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. Oh, I have control of this, I've never seen this before, wow. Doesn't look as good as the Chief Prosecutor outfit. Capcom. Are we done? We are. So I will not be doing the next two games on the channel, at least not now. We'll be moving on to bigger and better things. But big thanks to everyone who watched. I will see you guys next time.